Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It's the 8th day of August 2022. I hope that you had a healthy and safe and enjoyable weekend. I hope that at this time on this Monday that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare fields all weekend, every day, 24/7, 365. With the first responders trying every day to save lives. And those that pick up garbage for us and trash to keep streets, sidewalks, parks, highways clean. And those also that make deliveries of things such as food for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women who are out here every day trying to help rescue and deliver the teenagers, as well as the children who are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. And the victims also of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography and child pornography, and those that are victims of human trafficking and sex slavery. And finally, curses, double curses upon those that are involved, the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts. And those of you that don't understand why I say this, double curses on all of you. And finally, blessings upon the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children in the United States of America that are living on the streets, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So, today, in the hands of many, work is lighter. That's what it said. Many hands make light work. Y'all ever heard that? So, when you have two teams trying to get something done, sometimes a third team could help facilitate the business. So today we're talking about three individuals. Danny Ainge, aka The Ripper. LeBron James, no introduction needed. And the Don, otherwise known as Leon Rose. So we're dealing with The Ripper, LeBron, and the Don. And what's going on? The three teams each have interests in doing business together. The Lakers, when we talked about this yesterday on the live feed, the Lakers are interested in trying to win a championship now. Period. End of story. LeBron is going to be 38 years old in December. Father Time is undefeated with everybody. And as far as physical condition for his age, very few players in the history of the NBA have been in the type of physical condition that LeBron James is at his age, playing a grueling game in the highest level in the world. And so, not wanting to waste precious years that he has left, the Lakers want to win a championship as soon as possible, which is the reason they brought LeBron and Anthony Davis together in the first place. Now, they won one in the bubble, but LeBron has 4 rings. And Jordan was quoted as saying, 6 beats 4. In other words, don't try to compare yourself to me until you show up with 6 rings. Okay, so that being the case, LeBron is more desperate to try to win chips. Now, LeBron wanted Kyrie Irving, along with the Anthony Davis pairing, to make that happen. But at this time, Kyrie is going to be spending this season in Brooklyn. Some people say, well, he could wait till next season. Can he? He's 37. He's going to be 38. Can he? He wants to win now. So therefore, in order to help him do that, they need an upgrade. One of the major upgrades for the Lakers is in the position of Russell Westbrook. It hasn't worked out with LeBron and AD and Westbrook. In fact, quite frankly, it's been embarrassing sometimes. That's how bad they look together. Okay? So they're going to try to move Westbrook to make room, to add another couple of pieces that would fit better and perhaps help the Lakers win a chip. Now, Westbrook's salary, $47 million. That's a big nut. The good thing about it, though, is that it's expiring. And that's very important because whoever acquires Westbrook is going to have $47 million in cap space added to whatever they have whether positive or negative, next summer. And the flexibility of cap space is what every team in the NBA would like, especially rebuilding teams, in which case enter the Utah Jazz, who is trying to rebuild, having failed to win the championship, having both Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell on their team with a host of supporting cast. They have not been able to get it done in the playoffs. Okay, they have not been able to do it. So that being the case, excuse the phone. So that being the case, I'm at work too. So that being the case, they're now in full rebuild mode. When a team is in full rebuild mode, what are they doing? They're getting rid of all large contracts. They're trying to acquire as many draft picks and draft capital as they can. They want to bring on young talent. That's what they're trying to do. So when you're in full rebuild, you're looking at expiring deals. You're looking at making deals to acquire draft assets. And you're looking to acquire some young talent that you can try to see if you can build around. That's the Utah Jazz right now. Then you have the New York Knicks, who are actually in year 3 of their rebuild. Okay, year 3. In year 1, when really Thibodeau took over, they had a lot of young pieces. They hardly played them, but it was a season interrupted by COVID, no fans in the stands, and that particular season, the Knicks were 4th in the East in the 72-game season, winning 41 games. The next year, they tried to move more toward the veterans and less toward the youth, and it showed. And they only won 37 games. Okay? And so that set them back. Some people say, well, if Derrick Rose was healthy, it might have been different. Derrick Rose was 33, and you're dependent on a 33-year-old player with a history of knee problems for your team to be successful. That's not a formula for success. And so the Knicks took a step back last year. They wasted a year trying to go with veterans when they should have went more with youth. Return now to this season. Now, you have an Obi Toppin going into his 3rd season. You have a RJ Barrett, age 22, Obi, age 24. RJ going into his 4th season at age 22. You have a newly signed Mitchell Robinson at age 24. Young pieces, core pieces. Okay, you have an Emmanuel Quickley at 23. You have Jericho Sims at 24. You have Deuce McBride at 22. You have Quentin Grimes at 22. A nice nucleus of young pieces. You have a treasure trove of draft capital that everybody's looking at. Okay, and so now in year 3 of the rebuild, the Knicks are in a position to take a step forward in that rebuild. Will they win a championship this year? No. The goal would be to make the playoffs and then possibly win in the first round and get into the second round. That would be a tremendous success for the New York Knicks. Now, in order to do this, right now, the Knicks are interested in acquiring Donovan Mitchell, who the Jazz and the Ripper have made available because they are trying to rebuild. And the Knicks are trying to step forward. As I've said on multiple occasions, the Knicks will step forward with or without Donovan Mitchell this year. There will be a playoff team with or without Donovan Mitchell. But whereas they could take a step forward without Donovan Mitchell, they will take a step and a half forward. So we're talking about the difference between maybe a 46-win team and a 52-win team. Okay. Now in the Eastern Conference, that's major difference right there. Okay. So that's what you're dealing with. Now the problem, not really a problem, but what adds to this is that although the Don could walk away from the deal anytime he doesn't like it, and we know him, he's prepared to do that at any time. He's done it before. Donovan Mitchell is from the New York area and wants to play in Madison Square Garden. So you have an all-star player who's going to be 26 in a few weeks. And he wants you. He wants to play for you. So just on general principle, the Don has to look closely at this because he is in a position where he can move the franchise a step and a half forward with this acquisition. So now, that being the case, he's in talks or has been in talks with the Ripper. The Ripper is called the Ripper because not only does he do trades that help his team, he does trades that destroy other teams' futures. He's done it with the Nets, and he's done it recently with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the Don, being the Don that he is not going to allow the Knicks to be fleeced. Hence, we have a stalemate. Both men playing chess. Both are expert chess players. And you have a stalemate. Enter LeBron. I say LeBron instead of Jeannie Buss and whoever, Rob Pelinka, because it's LeBron that calls the shots in LA. And he's one of the few players in history that could do that. You had a Bill Russell, you had MJ, you had an Isaiah Thomas in Detroit that were on the level, though they were players, of management and called shots for management. Okay, LeBron is that guy. Okay, he calls the shots with the Pelinkas and the Busses. So that's why I'm not mentioning Pelinkas and Busses, because this is all about LeBron. That being the case, enter the Los Angeles Lakers. They have 2 picks available, 2 unprotected picks to add to any deal, the 2027 pick and the 2029 pick. They are over the cap and in luxury tax problems. When you're in the luxury tax in the NBA, you only one way you don't mind being there, because you're losing money and you're paying out more money in the luxury tax. But if you're winning championships, that makes up for it. Okay, enter, case in point, the Warriors, Golden State Warriors, been winning chips. They are way over luxury tax, paying big money in taxes. But because they win in chips and they selling out San Francisco, the advertising dollars, the revenues that come in as a result of that, they more than making up for the money they got to pay out. So if you're not winning championships, though, you just, killing yourself being in luxury tax territory. So this is what the Lakers are doing. So I mentioned LeBron has a short window. They're in luxury tax territory. They got to do something. They're not going to go into the full rebuild. They got LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So they are committed to trying to win a championship now. You take Donovan Mitchell out the equation and you're looking at the rosters of both the New York Knicks and the Utah Jazz, and you're looking at the best players available for LeBron, you got to start with Julius Randle. Okay? He's the best player available on both rosters when you take Donovan Mitchell out of the equation. Then you got to start with ancillary pieces that will help LeBron, like Jordan Clarkson or Evan Fournier or Derrick Rose, either off the bench or in the starting unit. You might want some young blood infused in your starting unit that's energetic, that's trying to prove himself, into Cam Reddish. So you have a bunch of pieces between Utah and the Knicks that can be put together to help LeBron. LeBron got 2 picks to throw into this, and Russell Westbrook got to be going somewhere to make this happen. The Knicks and Utah can use Westbrook not as a player. Let me say this 3 times for you. Not as a player, but as an expiring contract. So if you're talking about, say, for example, the Utah Jazz, they have an expiring deal of $13 million with Patrick Beverley. If they keep Patrick Beverley and his expiring $13 million, and you add to that the $47 million expiring of Russell Westbrook, next summer they enter the summer with $60 million. Say what you want about the Ripper. He knows what to do with $60 million. That's why they might be one. Then you have the Knicks, who have to extend RJ Barrett by this October. They're not going to wait till next summer, but they're trying to get this deal done first with Donovan Mitchell before they enter into that. So they would love to have some extra cap space to deal with. Moving out Randall, maybe an Evan Fournier or Derrick Rose, in exchange for the expiring deal of what Russell Westbrook, will add an additional cap space of anywhere from 30 to 50 million for them to be able to fit RJ's new salary in and possibly be prepared for the year after that when you're going to have to extend Obi Toppin. So you're dealing with that as well. Okay, so all teams have vested interest in getting this done. Most of the time, I try to avoid scenarios myself with 3 or 4 teams involved because they're very complicated. But this is one of the more clear-cut scenarios when all 3 teams have a clear vested interest in getting this deal done, which indicates to me it could get done. The only holdups in this deal would be Danny Ainge getting greedy, or the Don thinking Ainge is too greedy and walking away. That's the hinging of the whole 3-team deal right here, because you need all 3 teams to get this done proper. Especially, for example, if LeBron would like to have Julius Randle and Jordan Clarkson on his team. Jordan Clarkson, former 6th man of the year. Julius Randle, power forward as a 3rd option would be tremendous. Not as a first option, maybe not even as a second option. But if you make him a 3rd option, you got something there, especially with a talent like a LeBron James. So they have a vested interest in getting this done and involving these 2 teams. We're going to see what happens. But I have a feeling that before training camp opens, this will get done. Nobody wants to go into training camp the way they're looking right now. I mean, in terms of Danny Ainge holding on to a $30 million a year player that wants to leave. That's what I mean. Or LeBron James going into camp with Russell Westbrook still on the roster. They don't want that. The Knicks are the only ones that can afford to go into camp, just like they look right now. They're going to move some of these veterans one way or the other. Okay? I don't know if I'm saying they're going to move Randall, but I can see Rose, Fournier being moved. They already done moved one of Tibbs' toys and Alec Burks already. Then, of course, there was Nerlens Noel. They already moved some of these guys already. They already went on from one of Tibbs' favorite players, the improving and developing Taj Gibson. I'm saying that facetiously. But they've moved on from these guys already. And then, of course, there was Kemba Walker. So to say that they might not move on from Evan or Rose is silly. Okay? They're obviously moving toward youth. And this is not no rookie youth. These are youth with 3 years, 4 years NBA experience, ready to take that next level. So everybody has a vested interest, but the Knicks, to me, are in the strongest position with the draft capital they have, with the youth talent they have. They're in the best position of all of these. Danny Ainge got this one diamond piece in Donovan Mitchell that he's really trying to maximize. LeBron got age against him. AD done already hurt himself again on a daggone coffee table. So he needs some help over there. The Knicks are the ones that can sit tight. That's why I say you got the Ripper, LeBron, but above it all is the Don. We're in really good shape. So we're going to see how this plays out. I can see a scenario where the 2 firsts from the Lakers with 2 unprotected from the Knicks creates 4 picks going to Danny Ainge. The Knicks have a treasure trove of protected picks. You add 2 more protected. That's 6 picks going to Ainge. That's the linchpin. What does Ainge accept in terms of draft capital? If he doesn't get greedy, he can get this done. If he gets stupid, the Don could walk away and everybody will be upset. I think it gets done though. And so I'm thinking it gets done before training camp. We're going to see how this works out. But let's stay tuned, y'all, because news is going to come out every day. You're going to be hearing rumors every day. News is going to come out. And we may have to discuss some. Most of them I'm going to ignore unless they come from credible sources. So we're going to talk about that. But in the meantime, enjoy your Monday. Be safe. Be healthy. Shalom.